Happy Tuesday, Dogecoin Army. Are you guys ready to go to the moon? In this video, I'll be breaking down my prediction on how Dogecoin is actually going to go to $2.10. Guys, I am so excited for Elon Musk to take us to the moon. And that being said, we're going to get mainstream adoption, and it is going to be beautiful, guys. So I hope you're ready.
Got him!
So if you're a Dogecoin bull and you just believed what I had to say at the beginning of this video, I'm going to need you to immediately click off this video and actually book yourself an Uber to the nearest mental hospital. Once you've done that, please don't come back to this channel. And that being said, we can get started. So to the guys who know this shit's not going to $2.10 and you want to make money actually taking advantage of my prediction and crash to 11 cents, which I'm calling for, I actually want to show you exactly when to enter, how much position size to use, what percentage of your position to use. Guys, we've got questions ranging from Alex, how do I enter? Alex, when do I enter? And you've got guys making money, and you've got guys losing money on the exact same crash prediction. Okay, so great example here. Alex shorted Doge at 33.2. It's getting its ass kicked. Love the TA, love the channel. Keep it going. You've got another comment saying, hey, Alex, I'm getting crushed right now on the short. Maybe bad timing entering today. So how is it that you can have one guy who is absolutely thriving and another guy who doesn't really know why he's losing money? Okay, that's why I want to make sure that in this video I'm able to make winners and winners only. I want to make sure that everyone knows exactly what they're doing on this Dogecoin crash, because the truth is, you could have the greatest prediction, you could have the greatest call, and you're still going to have people lose money if they don't know what to do. So guys, there's a reason at the end of the videos I always say, guys, I really prefer you to sign up for one-on-one coaching instead of trying to do this on your own, because on your own, well, you can still mess it up hugely. Okay, so how do you enter? How do you profit on this crash to 11 cents, guys? That's what I want to show you. Okay, so I thought it was self-explanatory considering we have a head and shoulders formation here. We've went over this pattern in detail many times on this channel. If you don't know what a head and shoulders is, it is a bearish topping formation which signals to you a loss of momentum and slowdown within the price of whatever it is that you're trading. And in this case, that's Dogecoin. It's coming at the end of a magnificent, surge higher, and that's exactly the characteristics you want to see within a head and shoulders. Okay, so once again, when people say, what's going on, I'm getting crushed, at what price point are you roughly supposed to enter the short? I thought these were, self-explanatory questions. Ryan, if you're watching this video, absolutely no offense to you, my brother. This is to help you, because I know if you've got this question, other people have this question as well. And that's why I'm making this video, okay? So with a head and shoulders pattern, you got to understand that the trade is not confirmed until you get a break of the head and shoulders. So anything above the neckline is considered to be more risky. Why? Because you're playing aggressively before the confirmation of the trade. Now, when you say confirmation of the trade, okay, because I hear a lot of people say, oh, when the trade is confirmed, right? When the trade is confirmed, that's how you know to go in. When the trade is confirmed, this and that, okay? When people say that, other channels say that, it's a good excuse, or it's a good way for them to basically not give you specifics, and I don't want to do that. I want to give you specifics. So what is a confirmation on this trade? A confirmation on this trade is closing below the neckline, okay? You can see we have never closed below the neckline of this head and shoulders, right? You had one point here, which, the close was right on the edge, okay? But really, this neckline, okay, really what we're looking for is a close on the right shoulder, right? This was the left shoulder, right? No one cares about the left shoulder. What we're worried about right now is the right shoulder, because that's where the trade really takes place, okay? So you're looking for a close below the right shoulder, and that's your first confirmation. Your second confirmation on this trade is 3 days of closing prices below this neckline, okay? And your third confirmation is going to be significant above average volume on this breakthrough. And your fourth confirmation is going to be Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing at the time of this breakthrough, okay? Dogecoin will be correlated to Bitcoin in a sense. It's not going to be perfectly correlated. As a matter of fact, right, you can see Bitcoin is up over 25% in the last week, whereas Dogecoin is negative in the last week, right? But what you have to understand is the strength of Bitcoin recently is what's holding up Dogecoin as of now. Guys, if it wasn't for Bitcoin soaring this last week, okay, Dogecoin would already be at 11 cents. Okay, so you have to understand, once again, getting back to the point of anything above the neckline is aggressive. Okay, and so this is why I don't recommend taking on huge positions above the neckline, because we can hover above the neckline for some time. I mean, straight up, okay, this could take a month before it broke through the neckline. Now, I don't think it's going to take a month, right? But I'm trying to be objective here. You can hover above this neckline. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even have to break through the neckline, right? But obviously, if you watched our in-depth analysis of over, all the factors like, volume, divergence, all these other things, RSI divergence here, look at the left shoulder, right? And look at the RSI at the left shoulder. Here's the right shoulder. Look at the RSI at the right shoulder, right? So we just please check out that video if you haven't already. We went over all the divergences, everything you need to know. And basically every single thing we said in that video was gold. We talked about the sequence on this neckline and what we notice every single time. Look, every single time Dogecoin hits this neckline, what do you see? It pierces the neckline, it rises, then it drops. Pierces the neckline, rises, then it drops. Pierces the neckline, rises, then it drops. And, last time, I guess my neckline's not correct right now, but basically last time we told you, look, guys, it's piercing the neckline. Last time when I had my chart drawn up, the neckline was there. I mean, I don't know why it's not there right now, but we told you, look, pierce the neckline, rise, drop. Okay, and so we told you on this green day to start accumulating a short position. If you listen to that video, shortly after dropped 8%. So you could have been buying, or not buying, you could have been shorting Dogecoin at 35 cents, and shortly after dropped all the way down to 31 cents. That's a 4-cent drop, okay, in 3 days. 4 cents out of 35 cents, guys, doesn't take a mathematical wizard to understand that. That's over a 10% drop in just 3 days after the recent Dogecoin video, right? So if you listen to that, you came up very nicely, just like Anthony and just like a lot of other guys that I'm working with on the side here on our channel, okay? So that being said, getting back to the point of why you don't want to take such a large position above the neckline. Well, first off, the trade is not confirmed. Now, guys, if you've been following this channel, obviously I'm right a lot, okay, like a ridiculous amount. I honestly surprise myself with how right I am and how frequently I'm right on this channel. As a matter of fact, if you go back and watch all the predictions in the last, like 40 days, I don't think I've missed a single prediction on this channel in the last 40 days. Okay, and so you could argue with me a little and say, well, Alex, don't you remember one time you said we were going to drop to 33,000 and it only dropped to 35,000, right? So like, for example, this right here. Right here I called a drop and it dumped off to 35,000 shortly after, but my target was 33,000, right? But it doesn't mean I'm wrong on the trade. I mean, clearly the shit dumps the fuck off 4 or 5%, right? It just didn't reach the magnitude of the drop, but nonetheless, highly profitable position. You could have been up over 100% had you shorted this like I recommended in that last video. All you had to do is wait for the head and shoulders neckline to break, and that was a beautiful trade, right? So not every trade is like pinpoint precise on the money, on the dot with the magnitude, but the trade itself, if you go back and watch the last 40 days of videos, every single prediction has been on point. And once again, every video I post, I'm thinking, damn it, I'm finally going to be wrong on this prediction. And I'm just never wrong, guys. I don't know how. I just, trust me, I'm wrong outside of this YouTube channel all the time, okay? But when I post a video on this channel, it's because it's a damn good idea. And, well, once again, track record, the videos on this channel, that speaks for itself. So if you're new, welcome. You just came up on a gem of a channel, okay? So that being said, please go back and watch the in-depth analysis of this chart if you haven't already. But how exactly do you manage this position when it comes to percentage of your account, percentage of your position, how to do it? Let me just tell you exactly how we're doing it here at Crash Trading, okay? So let's refresh this chart here so we can redo this. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, okay? So the way you manage your risk on this, guys, is very simple. Okay, if you work with me outside of the YouTube channel, you know I've been telling everyone the same thing. You accumulate, okay, and this is the max you accumulate. You accumulate 50% of your position above the neckline. Okay, so right now you should have at least, or no, at most 50% of your desired position, okay, because you have to realize, once again, if you're above the neckline, the trade is not confirmed, you are taking a little bit of extra risk on it, and on top of that, it doesn't have to drop now, it doesn't have to drop in 3 days from now, and it doesn't have to drop in 1 week or even a month from now. It can continue to hover above the neckline, right? So any position you take currently, you have to understand, you are being aggressive, and you are going to have to sit for a while until we ultimately break through the neckline, which is what we think is going to happen, right? So the real time to get aggressive, the real time to really add to that position is on the break of the neckline with the 4 confirmations I just told you. Now, once again, I'll repeat what those 4 confirmations are again, because I know it's really easy to forget what you've already heard. So go ahead and write these down if you haven't already, if you do plan on profiting and making 700% on this epic collapse with me. Okay, so first confirmation, once again, it's 1 closing day below the neckline. Second confirmation is 3 closing days below the neckline. And you might be thinking, so the first confirmation is 1 day below. Second confirmation is 3 days below. What's the difference and why is that? Well, sometimes what can happen with head and shoulders is they can fake you out, right? So it might be under the neckline, but it might actually get right back above it the next day. So when you have 3 consecutive days below the neckline, that's when the trade is pretty much 110% confirmed, or at least as close to a sure thing as you could possibly get in this market, okay? So that's why that's your second confirmation. Third confirmation, you need to see an increase in volume on the break of this neckline. You need to see it be above average. It should be higher than this flat volume we're currently seeing at this level, okay? And then fourth confirmation is Bitcoin, right? Is Bitcoin bearish at the same time that Dogecoin is breaking through? If so, that's just, once again, an extra confirmation. That is just really good sign to see if you're short on Dogecoin, right? Because look, Bitcoin's been bullish, which has really helped Dogecoin not crash already. Now imagine if Bitcoin's bearish, how bearish that's going to be for Dogecoin. It's going to be disgusting, okay? And so that's why you have all these factors that really add up for such an epic collapse, on top of the fact that this thing is, everyone knows it shouldn't be up here, okay? And so I love reading some of these comments. I collect all the idiotic comments so I can always look back at them when I'm right, like I almost always am. And it's just hilarious. So we can save these comments for another day. I have them all saved here, guys, and it'll be funny to do that once Dogecoin crashes. So that'll be in another video. But that being said, guys, those are your 4 confirmations. Hope you wrote them down if you haven't already. And getting back to allocation, what percentage of your account to use. First off, you don't need to use your full account on a trade ever. But what you do need to do is make sure that whatever position and whatever size you want to put into this trade, you are 100% okay with losing all of it. Okay, because that is the only way to stay emotionless in the trade. Okay, because if you're going to question yourself, doubt yourself, you will scam yourself out of an incredible drop here that I'm predicting. Okay, and so once again, just make sure it's an amount you're comfortable losing always, because fear is what stops you from taking some of the greatest trades. Now, you might be wondering, Alex, if you're so confident on the trade, why won't you just build up the full position right now, right? And it makes sense, right? Because if ultimately you're going to crash, well, if you enter now, it's going to be more profitable than entering here, right? But at the same time, guys, you don't want to put all your eggs into one basket, into one entry. What if, let's say, Dogecoin bounces up to 35 cents or even 40 cents? You need to have capital to be adding to the position up there. Okay, and so by doing this, by only having 50% at max currently into this position, and once again, that's the max you should have currently, you are putting yourself in the best position to win, and basically saving capital for when it's most necessary. And trust me, you hate to mess up a trade because you don't have the capital needed for that trade. Those are the ones that really hurt the most, and it seems like the ones that happen the most is because you go too big too soon, and you don't want to do that, especially on such an epic chart like this, guys. You just want to make sure you nail this, because let's say you don't, it's not so much about the entry as much as it is about making sure you survive without getting liquidated to eventually see this crash, okay? And so another thing I'll point out is there is nothing wrong with going low leverage above the neckline currently and actually switching your leverage once we break the neckline, okay? Because let me explain this if you're new to leverage trading, right? So let's say you've got $100,000 to put in this trade. You're short on 2x leverage and you have all $100,000 into this trade above the neckline, all 100,000 in, right? Well, if you're on 2x leverage and you actually break through the neckline, you want to switch it to 4x leverage. Well, once you switch it to 4x leverage, it's actually going to free up half of your capital. So now you're only going to have $50,000 invested in the trade, and you're actually going to have $50,000 free to add to the trade once you switch it from 2x to 4x leverage, right? So that's another way that you can do this, is you could have 100% of your position above here, but make sure it's on very low leverage, and then you can actually switch your leverage to a higher leverage on the break of that neckline, and then add on the break of the neckline. So that's another very smart way to play it. That being said, you still got to be careful, because what's the worst case scenario is it could still bounce up to even 40 cents, right? So I always like to have capital, just for the worst case scenarios always. That way, once again, we all will get to see this beautiful crash. And do I think it's going to bounce to 40 cents? Fuck no. Okay, I don't. But guys, remember, at the end of the day, since we're chasing such a huge move, it doesn't matter as much if you enter at 31 cents or at 29 cents, as long as you get to see the full drop, okay? It's not going to make that big of a difference. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important. It's more important to make sure you're in the position safely and you get to see the crash than it is to have the perfect entry, to have all your capital invested at the perfect time, right? Because that's the truth, is we don't know exactly when the perfect entry is. We do know when the trade becomes much more valid and when it becomes much more confirmed and a much more high probability to crash, okay? So that's what you're looking for right now, guys. That being said, I do think I've broken that down pretty clearly, right? And so I'll explain the last reason why you don't want to have over 50% of your position above the neckline currently, guys, is you have to understand there's more stress involved above the neckline. Because once again, the trade's not certain. The trade's not confirmed above the neckline. It becomes a lot more valid below the neckline. So if you're going to take a huge position above the neckline, well, you might be worried about it. And, God knows how emotional some of you guys are when you trade. Some of you might not even be able to sleep if you have a big position above the neckline. And, once again, if it takes a week or two to break through, good luck sleeping for the next 2 weeks, right? So you got to make sure that it's not just about profits, but it's also about your life. And how are you going to be able to manage emotionally? And if you got to go take a shit, let's make sure you're not there sitting on the toilet, checking the price of Doge every second because you're so worried about the position, right? We don't need that, okay? We need you to trade this confidently and not have to check it everywhere you go during the day because your position's too big. Does that make sense? So guys, I think I've broken that down pretty clearly. Don't use an amount you're not comfortable losing, and because once again, emotions, that nervousness, the doubts that'll come in your mind, that will mess you over on even the greatest trades of all time, okay? And so that's super important. That being said, guys, I hope you found this video useful. Remember, where do you enter, right? That's like the question here. I saw what price point are you roughly supposed to enter short? Right now it's looking like around 29-ish, 28 cents with the 4 confirmations I went over that you should have wrote down if you haven't already and you are planning to trade this, right? So it's looking like around 29 to 28 cents is where it's really going to be confirmed, right? So it kind of just depends. This neckline right here, yeah, it's looking like around 27 cents. I think it looks really good. Okay, so guys, last thing I'm actually going to point out, okay, is do you see this green day right here where I told you guys to start accumulating a short position in the last Doge video? Well, this was 6/9, right? June the 9th. And so on June the 9th, they were supposed to push the price up to 69 cents, and that's all they could do, guys. If that doesn't show you how pathetic this Dogecoin chart is, then I don't know what does. On top of that, didn't they, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because remember, I'm not going on Coinbase to buy no fucking Dogecoin, okay? But didn't Dogecoin get listed onto Coinbase recently? And usually that's supposed to be highly, highly bullish. And well, you haven't seen any bullish price action so far, have you? So I mean, once again, those are two reasons that should be really bullish, which is, you know, pathetic, right? Can you believe a day which is 6.9 is supposed to be bullish for a fucking coin? That's sad. That's how you know it's a bubble. And second, it got listed on Coinbase, I believe, or it's going to be, and there's just no bullish price action. And, you know, if that doesn't show you how weak it is, I don't know what does. And that being said, once again, if you haven't watched the in-depth breakdown of this chart, check out this video here, right here 1 week ago. That's going to be a full in-depth breakdown. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I kind of took my time to slowly break this down and explain it to you. So give me some feedback. Do you like this kind of more slower explanation? And finally, guys, make sure if you're wanting to short this Dogecoin crash, you sign up and set up an account on Bybit. Now, we have an affiliate link down below that you can use to get less fees and commissions since we are partnered with them. I'll leave that down below. This is what the link looks like. You'll need a VPN to get set up with them. I'll try to leave an article down below that's going to basically give you an article explaining how to set up the VPN, what VPN to use. And it's really easy though, okay? And that being said, guys, like I've always said, okay, I feel a lot better and a lot more comfortable when people do this through me than when they try to do it on their own. Because as you can tell, right, you can have an amazing drop, which has already been 8%. And ultimately, it can still drop to 11 cents, and you'll still have people in the comments saying, Alex, I'm losing money. And I'm just going to say, look, man, like, you know, at the end of the day, it's just because you don't know what you're doing, okay? So that's why we obviously have our programs. We have these things. So when you're not experienced, you get to get that experience and actually trade with me to learn how and why we're doing these things. And so that's obviously very, very helpful. Now, guys, you can pay in Bitcoin on our site, and you do get 10% off if you do so. So if you want to talk before joining, make sure to schedule a free 20-minute call. And also, even if you're not joining, but you just want to schedule a 20-minute call and get some help for free, you can do that as well. Okay, so that's on our site. Literally this button right here, schedule a free call. And that being said, guys, let's rock and roll. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. And thank you if you drop a like on the video. Also, can't wait to see how many dislikes we rack up on this video for trolling some of the Dogecoin guys at the beginning of the video. But that being said, guys, my name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching. I hope we can help some of you guys take advantage of this. And that being said, we'll see you on the next video. Take care, and make sure you set up an account if you haven't already so you can trade this. All right, let's rock and roll. See you on the next one. Bye.